I became aware of a video early, I think last week, from PolitiZoid. PolitiZoid has done several videos that are well worth your time to watch. Let me just play the highlights of this one. It starts in Disneyland, and it's a woke world.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to It's a Woke World.
This video takes you into It's a Small World, except everything has changed inside, but it looks exactly like it. It's a world of privilege in boats that are cramped. Welcome to Disney's re-education camp. If your skin is white, it's time you're contrite. It's a woke world after all. It's a world of power, a world of fears, and we work long days to make souvenirs. Although millions have died and the Uyghurs aside, it's a woke world after all. There is a land where once you lived free as a capitalist pig of the bourgeoisie. We could eat until we were fat and we would vote Democrat if we just get past that wall. The guy who put this together would like to remain anonymous, so we're just going to refer to him as the creative director of PolitiZoid. He is a former Disney artist. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Glenn.
You bet. How are you?
I'm doing well. I liked your narration there.
Thank you. So you must have a great job, especially since you don't have to take credit in the bows. You also don't have to take the hits.
Well, my family's not quite ready for that yet. I think the day will come. But considering I live in Los Angeles and I run my own shop, so, I have clients that couldn't really handle the fact that I just animated that piece that you shared. But, I'm tired of watching my country go down the drain, and it's time to do something. I've been doing these cartoons for about 10 years, and at times we've had funding and a team of 12 guys running around. Other times it's just me. It depends on what the opportunity, the opportunity is there. But I took about a 7-year hiatus off of doing these cartoons and jumped back in the game with a piece called Schiff Hits the Fan, because I was getting so bent out of shape over the impeachment scam, and kept seeing Adam Schiff coming on, saying all these things that were undoubtedly, false. And every one of them proved that he was lying. And so I dressed him up like Wile E. Coyote, and I put some, Trump hair on the Roadrunner and had him chasing after him. And about 3 weeks later, the White House was sharing it. And so, it was like, well, I guess I'm back. So since then, I've been putting out as many as I can in between client jobs, and because these take quite a while to do. I mean, the piece you just played took about 4 to 5 weeks to complete. So
wow, full time.
So that, it's a heavy investment in time to do something like this.
And are you doing it by yourself, or are there others involved in it?
Right now, the animation was done by myself. I had some friends that helped contribute some elements, some of the posters at the end, and like the pictures of Mao and that sort of thing. I had some help, and then I had some friends that brought together the chorus, because all that music was recreated.
Yeah.
That none of that was pulled from any original Disney material.
Right.
So the orchestra, everything had to be recreated using synthesizers, and but I can't sing like a child. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so fortunately, I had a friend that was able to bring together, a lot of acting students, and of course the end was an adult choir. So I'm not even sure how many people ended up singing it because I wasn't there. They sent me the files, but without their help, I couldn't have pulled this off. I mean, if that song's not right, I mean, you want to feel like you're in a real attraction.
Yeah. And I have to tell you, the animation is unbelievable. I mean, you worked for Disney at one point as an animator, and it is, I mean, this is really, really well done. Why did you take on Disney?
Well, I wouldn't do what I do without Walt Disney. I grew up not wanting to be an animator. I grew up wanting to be Walt Disney. I know his history. I've actually traveled to Marceline, Missouri twice and stood in front of his old offices in Kansas City, and of course done the tour here in LA multiple times of just tracing his steps, because I can't imagine what our country would be like without.
Amen. I am so glad to hear you say. I've been allowed to go into the archives. I've gone through his daily calendars and his diaries.
Yep.
He's an amazing man. And I don't know if you could say this about very many people, especially in the 20th century. Imagine America without Walt Disney. It would be a radically different place. And I'm not sure we'd still be free, because he put so much Americana into us, buried it deep into us as kids.
Well, yes. I mean, just imagine what Hollywood would be like without him. There would have been no counterbalance. It's what we got now. I don't know how deliberate or structured the takeover was, or if it was just kind of like an opportunity that presented itself to the left, but they took care of it by overtaking Walt's company. I understand why Walt took the company public, because he wanted to execute his ideas, but it was the worst mistake he ever made. Followed up only by him not really having a good succession plan when he died. He didn't. I mean, he probably felt like he was immortal or something. I'm not going to die.
Yeah.
But that happened much sooner than he anticipated, and I learned what America was through watching those shorts, Pecos Bill and Paul Bunyan and all those sorts of pieces.
Yeah.
It just gave you a sense of pride and a connection to the people that came before us. And that connection has been severed. And I know that Walt would be just, that's why I put Walt at the end. I know you didn't get to that part, but I actually pulled from his congressional testimony where he was talking about the communists in Hollywood. I turned that in on itself, where he is actually calling the current regime of Disney communists as a floating head in the reanimation lab, because the old urban legend that he was frozen.
Right.
Even though it was actually cremated.
Well, that's what they want you to believe. He's actually in the middle of the African, what is that stupid ride called? The jungle ride. That's where he is. The freeways. The freezer's in the middle of the jungle cruise. Are there more people like you than we think? Because, we don't think there is anybody like you. Are there more Disney people that are in that company that are just silent right now?
There are a lot of traditional folks that are below the line in Hollywood, meaning that they're the craftspeople, the ones that actually do the work, as opposed to the ones that are greenlighting projects and actors commanding large salaries. And they keep their head down. I have a buddy that is having to, direct woke stuff right now. And I get texts going, man, it's not my scene. I hate this. And, they'll share my videos around by email, their personal email, and give me the thumbs up. But, what really needs to happen is an opportunity to start pulling those folks into a new operation that competes with Hollywood.
Yes.
One where they know that they're not going to be canceled and that they can feed their families and save their country at the same time. And if an opportunity like that, presents itself, and I think that there are tons of people in Hollywood that would jump at the chance.
I will tell you, though, the conservatives just don't part with their money as easily as liberals do, especially on things like movies. They they don't like the odds of success. And it's interesting because when it comes to politics, it seems like the left never runs out of money. But it's very difficult on the right for some reason.
Well, there's a very different mindset. I mean, I kind of straddle the world between entertainment and politics. And there's very, the people that run the money in politics are very set in their ways. And they're able to kind of give the same sales pitch as to where the money's going to go and the ads. And, I actually created 10 spots for the Trump campaign, and not one of them got used. And it wasn't the folks that I was working with directly. They were great. But it would go up the food chain, and it would get nixed.
Wow.
And,
would you be willing to share them? I'd love to see them.
I actually rebranded them as PolitiZoid, and they're on the YouTube channel and the Twitter.
All right.
The ones that still made sense to release. But, I mean, I didn't sleep all last October, and I put out spots that could have come up like the day after a debate or something, and they just didn't get used.
Wow.
And it was very frustrating because I feel like the pieces I did could have moved the needle. They could have brought in folks that a traditional campaign ad would not have reached. But it's going to take time. Then, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time. But I'm going to keep hammering at it, and as the opportunities present themselves, then I'm just going to kind of keep building.
Well, PolitiZoid, I have to tell you, I was really, really impressed with this video, and I will begin to share some of your work as well, and hope to talk to you offline as well. I think what you're doing is exactly right, and I really appreciate your passion and your willingness to risk. Thank you.
Thank you.
God
Appreciate
bless.
it.
You bet. Bye-bye.